What's up, you guys? In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the quickest and easiest way to set up your ThinkorSwim platform for options trading. Now, I know there's a lot of videos out there for setting up your ThinkorSwim and getting everything ready for day trading shares, but today we're going to be specifically talking about day trading options. So if you guys find any value from this video, make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what videos you want to see here in the future, and we'll go ahead and get right into it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is go ahead and reset everything to the default. So the first thing that you're going to be seeing when you open the ThinkorSwim platform is actually going to be this home screen right here. And this home screen right here is just showing you some basic information like when the market opens, showing you some news, whatever you want to put here, you can put here. I personally never look at the home screen, but this is going to be the first thing that you see when you open ThinkorSwim for the first time. And up top here, we're just going to go through these tabs real quick and just talk about what each one of these is. So the monitor tab, this is where you're going to be able to open it and see all of your open positions, all of your closed positions. And I currently don't have anything in here because I personally don't execute through ThinkorSwim, but this is where you're going to be able to see all of your activities and positions. Right here, you're going to be able to see your overall account statements. And these are really the main two tabs under the monitor section. Next up, we have our trade tab. And our trade tab is actually where our options chain is. So if you look under trade and you look under all products, that is where you're going to be seeing the options chain. And with the options chain, you're going to see all of these different dates, right? And each one of these dates are the weekly contracts or the expiration date of the contracts. And if you look in the parentheses here, it's showing you how many days you have until these contracts expire. So if you look up here, the January 31st, 2025 contracts, we have 1 day till expiration here. So all you have to do is click that open and you're going to be able to see all of these strike prices for these contracts. Now, when you're looking at this, I think default, it comes with 4 strike prices. So all you have to do to increase that is either drop this down, pick one of these numbers, or you can pick all. But personally, I just have mine typed out at 75. I highly doubt that you're ever going to be going 75 strikes out of the money. So I think 75 is more than enough. And that just lets you see all of these options contracts. And while we're in here, I want to go ahead and show you how to get the volume and open interest on your options chain. So default, I'm not exactly sure what it comes with, but I think it's last X and net change is what these contracts typically show you from factory. So I really don't care about the last price or the net change because I have the bid and the ask up already. So if you guys want to see the volume and the open interest on the contracts, which is much more important than the last price and the net change from open, we're just going to click on this right here, pop up this window, and click on the little tab that says volume and open interest. Now, if you look here, you see we have the volume on the contracts, the open interest on the contracts, the bid price, and the ask price. Now, in the middle, you're going to see, once again, your expiration date here. Right here, you're going to see your strike price. And over here, you're going to see the same exact thing that you saw on the other side. You've got your bid, you've got your ask, volume, open interest. And I just want you guys to keep in mind, whenever you're looking at an options chain, the calls are going to be on the left and the puts are going to be on the right. Now, if you guys are completely new to options trading and completely new to TOS, all of these strike prices that are colored purple are the in the money contracts. So on the calls right here, you can see all these are in the money. On the puts right here, you can see all of these are in the money. So all of the purple is in the money, all of the black is out of the money. So now that we have our options chain set up itself, we'll go ahead and move on to the next tab here, which is the Analyze tab. Personally, I don't really use this for anything. So we are going to go ahead and move on to Scan. So on the Scan tab under Stock Hacker, this is going to be showing you where you can set up specific scanners for certain stocks. So if you guys don't have a set watch list that you stick to on a daily basis, this is where you can put together a list of parameters and say, okay, I want a stock that's between this price and this price with this much average volume, this much percent change on the day, and then you click scan. It's going to pop up with all of the stocks that are going to fit your criteria, and that is what the scanner is for. Next up, we've got Market Watch here. The only thing I really use this tab for is the alerts section. So if I set an alert, I hear it go off, but I didn't see what it was, all I've got to do is go to Market Watch here, check alerts, and it's going to show me the last alerts that went off. Our main section here that we're going to be focused on today, the charts tab. So under charts, you have a few different tabs. You have your charts tab, which for time's sake, I'm just going to call this the big chart. You have your flexible grid, which I'm going to call the execution chart. And then over here you have Bookmap if you guys are into using Bookmap, but personally I do not. Once again, this is what the chart is going to look like from default. We're just going to go ahead and go through, once again, go through some of these buttons and show you what each of them does. So your main buttons you want to keep in mind are up here in this blue bar. So if you look right here where it says 4H, this is your time frame setup. So you're going to be able to pick whatever time frame you want to look at. And when I'm charting out my plays, I typically start from the 180-day 4-hour chart, which means each one of these candles is representing 4 hours worth of price action. And then right here, obviously you can cycle through and go up or down in time frames. You can go through here, mess with whatever you want to create your own time frames. So you can click on this right here, create custom time frames, and you can say, maybe you want the time interval to be 1 day and you want the aggregation period to be 2 minutes. I know some people like using 2-minute charts, and when you do that, it's going to give you the 1 day 2-minute chart. If you want to add this to your personal list so you don't have to do that every single time, all you've got to do is go here, click customize list, add time frame. You can type on intraday, daily, custom, whatever you want it to be, and you can do the time interval as 1 day, aggregation period 2 minutes, click apply, click OK, and then it's going to be added to your list of default timeframes here. Now, moving back to the chart here, we're going to go over a few more things before we get into actually building your execution screen. So in order to customize your chart, you can go right up here to your settings tab, click chart settings, and you have a bunch of different options you can choose from on how you want your chart to look. So just for example, we can click right here and click apply, and that's going to overlap our volume bars onto the chart itself if you don't like having this separate little section down here for the volume. Now, personally, I use a few algorithms, and with those algorithms, the volume bars look kind of funky if you have them overlapped. So on my main charts, I'm always going to keep that overlap volume turned off. Next up, appearance. So let's say you don't like when the candles are hollow when they're green, right? All you can do is check this right here. It's going to fill these candles. So all of your candles are going to be solid rather than some of them hollow and some of them solid. I personally like to keep it this way, but this is also where you can go and change the colors of the candles. So let's say you don't like using red and green for your colors on your charts. And I know a lot of people don't because it influences some emotions when you see red and green. Let's say you want your green candles to be blue and you want your red candles to be white. So all you've got to do here is just go here, click on one of these color boxes. Let's just select blue and see what it looks like. So now your green candles are going to be colored blue, and we can click the border down to change your red candles to white, and the fill down to change your red candles to white as well. So let's just go ahead and click apply on this and see what this looks like. Now your chart is completely changed as far as the color goes, but that's just one of the ways you can customize this. And now let's say you don't like the background color. Maybe you want to change your background color. We can go right here, we can click on a different color. Maybe you want it to be solid black instead of gray like it is. Now you click that, you click apply, and your chart is black. Now another thing we can do here is we can edit how these alerts look. So you guys see right down here, I'm gonna go ahead and place a new alert just so we can mess with it. I'm gonna create an alert, doesn't really matter what price, and then boom, right here. I have this line going all the way over, which is my alert. Now, if I want, instead of a line, to just have an arrow over here on the side of my chart, so it's not so inconveniencing, all I have to do is once again go to these chart settings. I can go right over here. I can go to alerts, show arrows only, apply, and now you can see my alerts have been shortened over here to just show me these arrows. There's a lot of ways that you can customize these charts to look exactly how you want them to, and I would highly recommend going through and just messing with the platform on your own, just to figure out some of these little tweaks that is more personal preference rather than accessibility or usability, right? But now we're gonna go ahead and go over and I'm gonna show you guys how to replicate my execution screen for your options trading. So we're gonna click over to flexible grid here, and I'm actually going to detach this and make a separate flexible grid. I wanna make sure that this is saved so I don't lose all my progress. And we will go ahead and get right into it here. So the first thing you're going to need to do is click on these 9 boxes right here. When you do that, you can click customize grid. And what we can do here is I'm actually going to empty all of these out. And we're going to start from completely scratch. So I actually think that it looks like this from default. So we'll just go ahead and start from default. All right. None of my charts are linked to anything. They are just blank charts. So in order to get my exact setup here, I'm going to make my camera a little smaller. We're going to go in and we're going to, first of all, delete this top chart. And that's going to leave us with 3 tall vertical columns. And the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to add another chart here on the bottom. We're going to add another chart. Well, actually, if you're not executing through TOS, you don't need to add this very last chart in that I'm about to add. But if you are executing through TOS, we are going to add another chart here at the bottom on the right side, make that a little bit smaller. Now, the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to link our charts. All of these charts right here, the top 3 are going to be linked to number 2, link this to number 2, link this to number 2. All right. Now our bottom left chart, we're going to leave unlinked, and our bottom right chart, we're going to link to number 3. And the reason that we're linking this to number 3, you will see in just a moment. But as far as getting the rest of these charts set up, we will continue on. So personally, I always have my top left chart set at the 1 day, 1 minute time frame. And the reason for that is because that's the time frame that I'm actually executing on. So whenever I'm executing on one of these time frames, I want to have this up at the top left. My reasoning for that is because on my left screen here, I have my interactive brokers set up. So when I'm looking at my interactive brokers, I can see my execution buttons, I can see the options contracts, I can see my level 2, and I can see the 1 minute chart all at the same time. Now, for this section, we're going to add in the time and sales. And when you look at time and sales here, you see the furthest thing out to the left is the time, which is arguably the least important part of time and sales. So what we're going to do is go click on that little settings gear, click customize, and we're going to drag TS above price. After we do that, you're going to see the size, the price, and the time. And we're going to drag the price over here all the way to the left because that is the main thing that I want to be seeing. We're going to make the size a little bit skinnier, and we're going to make the entire time and sales a little bit skinnier. Just resize these so you can see the price and the size equally. Now, next up, our middle chart. I always cycle between the 5 day 5 minute and the 5 day 15 minute on this middle chart. So you can set it to whichever one you want to for now. And what we're going to do here is we're going to click on style, click on settings, and right here we're going to overlap the volume. And the reason we're doing that on these other charts is because we're basically trying to buy as much space as possible here. So same thing here. I have this on the 5 day 5 minute or the 5 day 15 minute. Over here on the far right at the top, I have this either on the 10-day 30-minute or the 20-day 1-hour chart. Once again, it cycles between. And we're also going to overlap the volume on this chart. Once again, just buying that screen space. Now, our bottom left chart here, I have /NQ, and this never changes. I always keep NQ on the 1-day 1-minute down here. And I am also going to overlap the volume on this. Click apply, I click OK, we're all good to go. Now, on this section down here, we can uncheck the sidebar. That gets rid of that little gray bar right there. Once again, buying us more space. We've already got our time and sales popped out here on the 1-minute chart. So we're going to uncheck the sidebar there. And then in the middle, we're going to have our level 2 right here. After we get the level 2 checked, we're going to uncheck sidebar. Over here, we're not going to have anything, so we're going to uncheck sidebar. And right here on this final chart, we're going to just type in a stock real quick so we can pull up these buttons right here. And these right here, once you click that, these are going to be your execution buttons. And you'll see how we use those in just a minute. Now, once you click these buttons, you're going to have the chart and the buttons together. So we're going to uncheck the chart. And this whole section down here is going to be just for your execution buttons. Now, you guys can resize these windows to make this smaller, make a certain section bigger, whatever fits your setup the best. Obviously, just do that. And what I typically do is I'll make this section as short as I need to be able to still see all of these buttons, but without having it take up too much space. Now that we've got that done, we can go ahead and uncheck the sidebar here as well. Now, technically, your entire setup is all done here. Your entire setup is completely finished, and we can go back up here to these 9 boxes and uncheck the customized grid. Now, if I didn't already have this setup saved, what I would want to do is click this right here, Save Flexible Grid As, and I would recommend just titling this Execution. Now, once you do that, we're going to go in here and we're going to show you how exactly we turn these buttons right here into your options contract execution buttons. So you'll see why all of these links matter in just a moment. So if you look over here on this sidebar, you can see I have this watch list, which is titled My Watch List, and it has every stock that I go through on a daily basis. So when I'm charting out all of my plays for the day, this is the watch list I'm going through on a daily basis. Now, if you look at this little chain link right here, you'll see it doesn't have anything on it. If I click this stock, nothing happens. I clicked Apple, you can see the chart is still on Tesla. So what I want to do is remember our big chart. We're going to link our big watch list to our big chart. And the reason for that is because I'm never executing on this chart. So I can have my big watch list linked to that because I need to go through and chart these levels out on a daily basis. So whenever I click a stock, the stock pops up now. AMD, I clicked, we have our AMD chart. Okay, so that should make sense here. Now for our next section, you can see I have another watch list titled Main Watch. So when I put together my watch list of stocks for the day, what I'm going to do is throw them into a separate watch list down here titled Main Watch. And what is this main watch going to be linked to? It's going to be linked to number 2. The reason it's linked to number 2 is because all of our execution charts are also linked to number 2. So we're on Tesla right now. If I click on Netflix, it's going to pull up Netflix on 3 different time frames. NQ is going to stay the same down here because we leave this unlinked. And with our other setup here, I'm just going to go ahead and throw these buttons back in here so we can demonstrate this real quick. We're going to throw these buttons in, take the chart away, make it smaller. Now, we're going to add in a third watch list here. And the way that you do that is you go down here to the bottom left, you click Add Gadget, you click Watch List, and then if you click this little settings gear right here, you can rearrange these watch lists. Now you can see I have a third watch list that's unlinked and it's titled default. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new watch list and we're going to title this options. All right, now that I've done that, we have our options watch list saved on this side. We're gonna link this to number 3. And what we're gonna do is we're going to go over to our trade tab. Let's pretend we're looking at Google to the upside here. So we're gonna go over to Google. And by the way, you guys can link your options chain to whichever one of these you want. Since I don't personally execute through TOS, I have my options chain linked to my big watch list. But if I executed through TOS, I would probably link it to my main watch list. So you can choose whatever you want to link that to. But anyways, we're going to pretend like we're looking at Google to the upside here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the, let's just say the 200 calls. If you right click on these options, it's going to pull out a pop-up window. You can go down here to where it says add.google whatever to watch list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, I'm going to click on options. And if you look right here, you can see we have that options contract loaded into this watch list. So now what we're going to do, you see we have Tesla typed into our execution buttons. We're going to link it to number 3, which is our options watch list. And just watch right here whenever I click this. I'm going to click this Google contract right here. Boom. Google 100 weeklies, 31st of January, 2025, 200 call. All right. So now that we've got those in here, what we can do is we can just click auto send and you can type in your quantity of contracts. So I'll type in 100 contracts, which is not going to fill. And it's also after market hours. So I have auto send checked. And now all I have to do to execute this trade is click buy market. Now you're going to see the order was rejected. All you have to do to enter your trade when you have this auto send button checked is click buy market. Boom. It's happening every single time. Now, once you're in that trade, you click sell market. All right, there goes your sell orders. And you can see it on the chart. You can see the buy, you can see the sell. Obviously, you're seeing all these rejected orders here. But yeah, with these big buttons, the reason I like them is because they're just super easy to read. They're super easy to look at. And you guys can be completely zoned in on the stock, completely zoned in on level 2. Just have your mouse hovering over this buy button. When it's time to buy, you just click buy. Boom, it's already done. Now let's go ahead and uncheck auto send and see what would happen if we click buy market now. Click buy market. We get an order entry window that pops up here. Guess what? Now you got to go through here. You got to make sure it's market order. You got to make sure it's the right time and place. Then you click confirm and send, and then it goes. Versus, make sure your auto send is checked. Click buy market. The order goes straight through. So that's super cool. And then once again, the way that you would monitor your P&L on your trade is you go over to your monitor tab, activity and positions, and you're going to be able to see your open P&L or P&L for the day, right? And what you can also do is you can detach this whole window into a separate window. So if you guys have another monitor, you can bring this whole activity and positions tab over to a separate monitor so you can monitor your P&L while you're in that trade. Now, if you don't have a separate monitor, that's perfectly okay. All you've got to do is just click over here real quick, glance, and then go back. But that is what I would recommend doing, is detaching it and putting it on a different window if you can. Or you could even detach it and just put it down here towards the bottom somewhere where it's not really in the way of what you're looking at. So that is how I have my ThinkorSwim set up. And I personally think this is the easiest way to execute your options trades through TOS. And another thing that I would recommend is if you know what you're watching pre-market, if you know what you're watching before the stock is getting there, just make sure you load up all your contracts before market open. You get your Google contracts ready, get your Microsoft contracts ready, Tesla contracts ready. So when it's time to make a play, let's just go ahead and throw Tesla contracts in here as well. When it's time to make a play, all you've got to do is just make sure on your main watch list, click on Tesla. All right, click on your Tesla contracts, and then Tesla is going to be loaded up in your buttons. All you got to do is click buy market, you're good to go. And another thing that I would recommend, since we did just see that order entry window pop up, click on this settings gear whenever you're looking at a watch list. It's just to the right of the ask. Go to customize and get rid of last price. So remove last price, type in mark into your search bar, add in that mark price, and drag it up here underneath the symbol. So all you've got to do is do that, click OK, and now when you click on the contract, you're not going to see any order entry windows pop up at the bottom. But you can see how easy this is to execute through TOS. Literally all you have to do is just make sure that you have your watch lists optimized, make sure you have your buttons optimized, and this is a super easy setup to get started with. And if you guys want to branch out and start building upon this setup, that's super easy to do. And you can really customize this whole entire platform to your exact liking. But this is the exact setup that I use for ThinkorSwim. This is the exact setup that a lot of people have asked me, hey, how do you do that? So I figured I'd make a video going over exactly that. But once again, if you guys got some value from this video, make sure you drop a comment and drop a like. If you have any questions for me, make sure you let me know, and make sure you join the Discord with the first link in the bio to trade live with us on a daily basis. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you end the week green, and we will see you on the next one.